Hi, welcome to the Model Citizens Program. That's not the name of the show, but it's kind of close. I'm your host, Logan Moore, and we're down 2 members today. First, I'm going to tell you about the people that aren't here, and then I'm going to tell you about the people that are here. Max Roberts is off. He's having a kid. That kid's got a poopy butt. He named that kid Ellie, and he lied to us all about it. That guy's gone. Mario Rivera is also gone, so I'm running all of the fancy schmancy toggles here, and hopefully it works out well. But joining us on the podcast is one original citizen, Michael Ruiz. Hello.
Hi.
And then also is a persona man sitting in a principal's office, Grant Callahan.
The principal's office. This is Parks and Rec. Close enough, though. But hello.
It looks like a principal's office.
Do you not see the NBC in this corner? It's, of course, has to be some good show.
Well, maybe it's Michael Scott's office. I don't watch any of these NBC sitcoms. Like when I'm on the dating apps and people are like, I love The Office, Jim. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Looking for the gin tonight, Pam. The greatest
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a NBC show, right?
I think so, but wasn't it also Fox?
Yep.
Oh, maybe. Oh, it was a Fox
And
show,
then it got bought by NBC or something weird like that. It jumped networks because I think it got briefly canceled.
I started watching that show.
It's
pretty good.
It's okay. I think I watched a season or 2.
Yeah, we're on season 5 or 4. Oh my God, Siri, stop. All right, sorry.
All right, so we're here for the month of November 2022 because I'm just going to call this... I'm not giving episode numbers because I can't remember what episode it is because we do this once a month. I can't remember what episode.
6.
I think it's like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
It's one of those. We're not up to 8. 8 would be too far.
Yeah.
Anyway, we skipped a month there in October. We were just very busy boys. I was moving. Max was child having, even though he was not the one having the child, but a child entered his life and now lives at his home. Mario's been IGNing. Grant's been coughing. I don't know. We've all been very busy with things. And Mike's been, I don't know. Mike, what have you been up to? What have you been doing?
Just work, really. That's about it.
Isn't that exciting when you get into your 20s and 30s and you're like, oh, I just go to work every day and I have nothing to look forward to in my life?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I just went to work. I guess the only big things that have happened recently was I went to Phobab for work, basically. Well, I didn't get paid to go or anything. I went there as part of the brewing industry, though, so that was kind of a weird thing because it was one of my first, not my first one, but one of my first event things that I've gone to. I have a name tag thing, not a name tag, but a nice little lanyard for it and stuff. That was fun. Phobab is the festival of barrel aged beer. That's what it is. So, and we entered a couple beers in there. So that was fun.
Did you win any awards?
No, we did not.
Were you disappointed by that? Would you have gotten a bonus if you did?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Would you have been named Beerman of the Year? Would they put a crown on your head?
I guess in terms of awards, we were named second best small brewery in the world from Craft Beer and Brewing.
Ooh.
Which is a pretty big beer publication. That's I guess to put it into perspective for the gamers out there, because you guys are both gamers. That's if Game Informer said, "Oh, this is one of the best developers in the world."
So you're the From Software of
one of
beer
the
brewers.
sorry, one of the best indies in the world. One of the best.
Oh, you're an indie,
studios.
so you're the. That's a good indie developer.
Toby Fox.
You're the Toby Fox. I was gonna say who are the Hollow Knight people? Team Cherry, I think.
Yeah, Team Cherry.
Oh,
the Team Cherry. Yeah, you're the Yacht Club of beermen.
Who does the Pyre and Trans?
Oh, you're the Super Giant? No.
Yeah,
That's too high.
They're a little too big. But when they made Bastion, though, when they made Bastion,
Yeah.
so it's
So you're saying your next beer is going to be the transistor of beers.
So
If
the
only.
pinnacle.
If only. Transistor's my favorite.
Grant, you haven't even played Pyre. How do you know what the pinnacle is?
I have
Maybe
downloaded-
Wizard.
That's step one.
Maybe mystical wizard basketball is the best one. You don't know.
That is
Pyre's
true.
really good.
It is
But
actually
when
very good.
People say NBA Jam Wizard basketball.
Yeah, that
I'm like,
sounds like a
man,
good game to me.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, man, I don't like watching basketball or anything with basketball.
I'm just saying, I beat Pyre. I did not beat Hades. Just saying.
Hades nuts.
Where's the bot? We need to get the bot to join in on voice command.
Yeah, we do need the D's nuts bot.
Yeah, that'd be good. That would be good.
Hades is hard to beat though, because
okay.
wait, did you even complete a single run?
No, I never beat a run.
Oh man, well that's like you got to beat it like 10 times to actually beat it, and then like there's like more beyond that too if you're really crazy. But 10 times is what you.
I mean, gameplay's great, all that kind of stuff. Not for me. I just don't want to play that kind of game. So
what you're saying is you prefer games that are 3 hours long, like Transistor.
yeah, I do. I yes.
Yeah.
Granted, I've beaten like 220, like 234. I've beaten 4 20+ hour games in a row. The last.
What is? Last of Us. You played both of those.
Last of Us Part 2, God of War Ragnarok, and Red Dead Redemption.
Oh yeah, you beat Red Dead.
Yeah.
Wait, the first one or second one?
Second one.
And
I
yet
have not
you feel.
played the second one yet. I want to. I haven't just sitting on my shelf. I need to play it though.
I want to play it at some point too.
I think it's probably actually one of my favorite games of all time. It is so good.
It's just about a cowboy and
Yeah,
a couple
it's-
other cowboys.
It is really good. I'll never play it again though. That's the other thing. I'll never play that game ever.
It's like
again.
reading War and Peace. It just seems so long.
It is so long. It is one of the greatest achievements in video games. I think I'll never play it again.
You know what you would play again? Sekiro.
I would. I am planning on doing it. I want to play Elden Ring. That's like. Well, I want to play. I'm gonna play Sonic Frontiers first.
It's your God why.
That's a great game. What are you talking about, Logan?
I was watching the Digital Foundry video of that. Max sent it to me, and I was watching some of it, and the pop-in was like some of the most egregious I've ever seen in a game. It was just like things are just appearing, floating in the sky, like barely in front of Sonic. I was like, what the heck is this?
It definitely happens. It is still like fluid though. That's the thing that I'll say. It's never like the pop-in intrudes on the gameplay, I don't think, which is fine. It just looks ugly, which is, it's a Sonic game.
I was gonna say most Sonic games. Actually, no, the original Sonic games are really sexy.
I mean,
blast processing, baby.
Yeah, 2D Sonic Mania, whatever. They look great.
Yeah,
but I mean, like Sonic Adventures, like all those kind of games, like they are whatever. They don't really look all that great to me.
Yeah, I think that's my thing. Is like I'm kind of morbidly fascinated with trying that game, and like I keep thinking I might buy it, but also I've never played a 3D Sonic game that I think is good in my life. Like even the Sonic Adventure games back in the day, I'm like, oh, I'll try these. All these games suck. Or I would play Sonic Heroes. I'm like, oh, this game sucks, and like I can't I can't think of a good 3D Sonic.
Sonic Riders, that's a good game.
That's a
Sonic Heroes is a
game.
great game. Heroes is like the only Sonic game I actually like. Everything else is trash in my opinion.
I like the adventure games personally.
I like
Those
the
are
soundtracks.
games that I liked. Oh, the soundtracks are goated for
Some
sure.
are very good.
But
Most Sonic soundtracks, I would say, are some of the best.
I played a lot of Sonic back in the day, and I only ever really liked the 2D ones. The 3D ones, I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool, but like, I don't know. It's fine.
I think
whatever.
I think in motion, Sonic 2D games are really good until they halt you from going fast, and then you're like, this is terrible.
The
This is
3D
not
games
what
do a better job of that, I would assume.
That's the thing is, I think Frontiers actually does a really good job of doing that. Where like
making you gotta go fast.
yeah, well, making you not it's not about going fast all the time, is what I should say. I feels like, at least in the open world parts, in they call the cyberspace parts, which are like the mini level things. Those you go fast.
I still just can't take that game seriously because of the soundtrack.
You're not supposed to take it seriously
because of the like. Oh, we're gonna Breath of the Wild piano music in the background the whole time. I'm like, all right, if you want to create a Breath of the Wild style game, you just can do that. You don't have to make the piano to go with it.
Here's the thing. They do the Breath of the Wild thing in the open world, but in the cyberspace levels, which are just like kind of remixes of older levels, kind of, or based off of little things here and there, they'll do just EDM music.
Yeah, well, that's Sonic. That's what it should be.
It's just It's not the same, though. It's not like... It's like weird electronica club music. It's a little different.
I mean, that's still more in line with Sonic than like floaty piano music is to me. Like,
I guess, yeah, definitely.
I don't know. Maybe I'll buy it for Black Friday if it's $20 or something.
I think it's worth like a $40 purchase.
Okay, I'm not doing that.
No. I'll say that right here and now.
I live in expensive parts of the country by myself alone now with a dog. I can't be affording to go buy $40 video games, even though I'm going to go buy Pokemon tomorrow at the time of recording this.
You weren't going to play that.
Yeah, I'm not, but I got to go buy it tomorrow. The price on that's not going to drop anytime soon. So, like, that's the difference. Sonic, I feel like if I wait 2 months, it'll all of a sudden be on sale for $10 or something crazy.
Oh, which version are you guys getting?
Violet.
Scarlet, I think.
I'm getting Scarlet.
Heck yeah, dude! You're the only other one. Red is better than purple.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not.
Everybody else is like, oh, well, in Scarlet you got the Chad man, and in Violet you got the Chad man, in Scarlet you got the lady.
I like hot girls more than
that's
guys.
what I've said too. Everybody's like, you gotta get the Chad guy. I'm like, no, I like hot chicks, bro. Not hot dudes.
I like Giga Chads and robot Pokemon, not this prehistoric Unga Bunga Pokemon.
give me the monkeys.
I was gonna say Pokemon Return to Monkey Edition.
I said it. One of my favorite Pokemon of all time, Mankey. All right, I'm gonna get an Annihilate on my team. All right.
I do like the Mecha Godzilla Tyranitar that leaked. That is pretty sick. I would like to have a Mecha Godzilla Tyranitar. Here's the thing, though. How do you get them? Are they just forms?
So I may have played this game a little bit before release. Allegedly.
Oh, don't worry. By the time this posts, the game's out. So I just say you've played it.
Mr. Miyamoto can't get me now. But there is, in the post game after you beat all the Titan storyline, there's this area in the center of the map called the Great Crater you can't enter. But once you beat all the Titans, it's like, we need to save the professor. We gotta go to the Great Crater. And then you go there, and that's where all the Paradox Pokemon are.
Okay, so you just catch them naturally like that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of unexciting. I don't know.
I mean, it's cool. Like, they don't evolve or anything. So, like, that weird fetus-looking Jigglypuff thing, you just catch, and it won't evolve to a Paradox Wigglytuff. It's all going to be single-form things.
I thought you could, like, evolve it, like, the way you could evolve, like, if you had a, what's the middle form of Tyranitar? Pupitar?
Yeah.
I figured you could like evolve it one way or the other. Into either its normal form or its mecha form. Yeah.
No, they're all single stage Pokemon. No evolving at all.
That's weird. That's a little bizarre.
Before we get into maybe any other subjects, because I know we kind of maybe want to talk about Logan moving to Tennessee, maybe me nutting and my wife. Maybe Grant and I were talking about this. Logan, when you're playing a Pokemon game, are you thinking about when you're deciding which Pokemon you want? Are you thinking about it strategically, like, oh, like I like this, or I'm using this so then I could fight this thing off perfectly or whatever? Are you thinking of it strategically, or you think of it like, I like this Pokemon, I want this one?
It's definitely a mix of both. I would say cool factor takes precedent over like perfect balance. Like, oh, I need the greatest team I can assemble. Like, I start by outlining my team with just going like, that one's cool. I want that. And if it lines up with like a type I want, then that's fine. Like on most of my teams I construct, I always want an explicit fire type and an explicit electric type for some reason. So I always go out of my way to get those two for sure. So I kind of start there, and then I don't know. Cool factor though is like one of the main things. Like Grant knows I'm always like into the dragon types that they add and stuff like that. So usually I'm like, I like the dragon. It looks cool. Give me the salamence. It evolves into a little shell thing, and then it explodes and becomes a dragon. Yeah, I want that. Like that's kind of how I am.
Okay.
So cool factor first, and then I do like to create balanced teams. Like I'm playing Heart Gold and Soul Silver right now, and I feel like I've chose... Those games are different though, because if I replay the older ones, I want to choose ones that I've never chosen in certain runs before, so I'm not like I know a lot of people are like, oh, whenever I play Fire Red, I always choose the same 5 Pokemon. I'm like, well, that's boring. Like if I replay the old ones, I like to choose different things. But
yeah.
Anyway, broadly cool factor plays a larger emphasis.
Yeah, I saw this Pokemon that's going to be in the new one called Orthworm, and I want that Pokemon. So that's where I'm at.
Is it the one that looks like a penis? The white penis out of the ground?
No, that's not the white penis one. It's
it does look like a penis because it sits up and it's just the head and like the little silver thing below it. And you just see it like, is that a penis? And then sort of like wiggles, then goes away. If you approach it, I'm like, oh, I don't know what that is until you finally catch one.
What's the last question too about Pokemon? What's the Pokemon game where Incineroar isn't Incineroar a starter? Like
Sun and Moon.
It's Sun and Moon?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
The best Pokemon game so far in this series.
No.
Yes.
No gyms. They're just
like
go into a cave and fight this monkey. Oh, good job. Here's a gym badge.
Wow, that sounds like a good game. It sounds in this society where they appoint these people. No, nature takes precedence.
No, I want guys who are like, I fought in the great Pokemon Roar with my Raichu. Now I will fight you for a badge.
I just like walking out the wilds like, you want this rock, you gotta fight the giant Donald Trump weasel, and you must get it. That is good. Not the great war veterans of Pokemon World War III.
Pokemon World War 3 is... Pokemon War would be great. Why haven't they made that game yet? It could be like Conker's Bad Fur Day, but with Pokemons.
Aren't they making a game like that, though? Where, like, they make Pokemon slaves and they make guns? What's that game? I feel like...
the one with the Pokemon game with the guns as well.
Oh!
I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't remember what it looks like.
A good game.
But every time I see it, I'm
Pokemon
like,
War.
oh, it's Pokemon with guns. This is very cool. Yeah, that game looks awesome. I want to play that.
Yeah, it looked interesting for sure.
Anyway, let's talk about this nuttin'.
Oh.
Or we could talk about me first. It just depends. You're the one who brought it up.
Yeah, we could talk about that. Well, I didn't bring it up.
I brought it up before the show, and then you brought it up on the show.
Yeah, I guess we could talk about it.
I don't know. How much do you want to say?
So basically, Amber and I are trying to have a child. You know, we were inspired by Max.
You saw Eloise. By the way, Max had a child. Her name's Eloise.
Yeah, and that's why Max isn't here. Congratulations, Max.
We forced Max to take a 2-month break. We all took a month break, and then Max, we said, has to take another month break.
Yes.
Even though I've been recording podcasts with him for weeks while this kid has been born. So
yeah, but so we've just been trying, and for the past like 5 months.
You've been trying that long?
Yeah.
So you've been keeping this under wraps then? Okay.
Yeah.
Because when you started telling us about it, I thought that you meant you would like only been trying for like a month, and you were
no. I mean, when was that? That was like 2 months ago, probably.
I guess Probably. Yeah, time moves
2-3 months ago.
quickly now.
Yeah, I mean, we've been trying. It's weird because your entire life when you're in like school and all that stuff, there's a big emphasis on, you should wear a condom because you're going to make a child, like, no problem. I'm like, okay. So we're trying to have a child. And it takes a long time, guys. It's not just shoot a load in somebody and then you make a child. It is not that, it turns out. Which is what the expectation is when you're 16 or 18 and you learn about that kind of stuff. That's how it's actually like kind of brought up in my mind.
Yeah,
how it was brought up.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a lot hard. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be.
Are you guys getting down in the? Have you? I mean, honest, he's not here, obviously, but have you talked to Max about this? Obviously, like.
Yeah, I mentioned it because there was one time. Maybe that's something. That's not a story I should necessarily tell, but I did talk to Max about it because long story short, and not to get into too many details about it, it's more just like it's just weird because Amber and her family and my family even, like, we're just like, oh, they try for a week or they try for like a month, and it's just like they get pregnant and we try and it's like just doesn't work out. So
Yeah,
and I know, and I talked to Max about that specifically, and he was like, yeah, if you just need somebody to talk to or whatever, just let me know. I'm like, okay. So
yeah.
it's just weird stuff like that, but
It'll probably happen when you like least expect it to. Is the thing
Yeah,
that I
so that
feel
was
like
the-
is
so-
like gonna happen.
yeah, that was the one thing we were talking about, like right before we were starting this, was if we kept on saying if we can't have a kid for like a year, and we're trying for a year and nothing happens, I'm like, well, we'll just move somewhere not in Illinois anymore, because then at that point we don't need anybody around here.
Yeah.
Like, kind of the selfish thing, but like one of the main reasons
You
why
want to
we
buy
settled
another
down in-
house in this climate, in this economy?
Hopefully by then it wouldn't be that bad, but
Maybe.
no. One of the main reasons why we stayed in Illinois was because, we have family here, and it would be easy if we had a kid, like somebody to watch them and all that kind of stuff. But if we didn't have a kid, going out west, we're getting out of here. We're getting out of the snow.
What
No
are you thinking of specifically? Do you have like any ideas?
California is always the place that Amber.
Oh, dude, California sucks. Don't go there.
I love it. It's just too expensive.
I like
but-
it. It's just like California is the most dystopian state by far. That and Florida, I guess, are the two
Florida's
that are like crazy.
Florida's a little
crazy.
gnarly for me. But I do like whenever I'm in California. I do like it there. But I do have family out west too. Like my dad lives in Vegas. My sister lives in Boise, Idaho.
I thought she used to live in Oregon.
She did. She moved pretty recently after she had a. Well, not after she had a kid. That was kind of a happy accident kind of thing. She had moved during pandemic. Actually, no. She moved before pandemic. She moved when all the fucking skinhead shit was happening in Oregon. If you
Oh yeah.
the Proud Boys stuff.
Okay.
When that stuff was happening, it was kind of like maybe we should go. I don't know if that was the exact reason, but I know that she like talked about it. She's
So
like,
she moved to Idaho instead. I'm sure
Yeah,
there's
she
a
would-
lot of
yeah.
liberals there. And
Yeah, so many. Actually, Boise's pretty nice.
Boise's
Like,
probably
we-
fine.
I visited it. We visited not that long ago, and that was actually pretty fun. They have a nice skate park under a bridge. It's pretty nice. It is hot as fuck though over there.
That's probably how you determine like most areas of the country. Like, oh, I had a pretty good skate park.
That's how some of them I do. I mean, not really actually. Now that I think about it, because I just kind of got into skateboarding again like 2 years ago, so
Yeah.
not all that much. But yeah, Idaho was the place where I went to. I'm like, this reminds me of Red Dead Redemption because I was playing that in the middle of it.
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
Like, this area just reminds me of Red Dead Redemption. I'm like, I want to play that game now. And then that's when I finally beat it and played it. But, yeah, that's all the Nuttin story, really. It's kind of sad, I guess.
I don't know. It's not sad. I mean, I guess it's sad because you would have liked to have like been on the path to having a kid by now. But,
yeah, it's just the expectations were, we'd probably have a kid by now, but it doesn't work out that way, which is fine. That's not anything bad or anything. It's just,
I mean,
weird when you see everyone around you.
Yeah, I think what you're going through is probably way more common too, and that's what I told. And that's what I've talked to other friends about too. Is like, it's very normal what you guys are probably going through. Like, yeah, it is. Oh, yeah. It does seem like if you have sex and you're trying to have a kid, like it's presented to you in such a way that you'll get pregnant in a week, but that's really not the case at all. Like, there's so many stipulations and things you got to take into account. Yeah. So you guys are not alone. Like, don't think your balls aren't going to shrivel up and turn to dust or something like that anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm not really. It's weird because I'm also on the, of course, I would love to have a kid. We're obviously trying to have a kid, but then at the same time, it's like, well, if I don't have a kid, then I could just hang out. And we can do whatever we want.
That's something else I've been encouraging one of my other friends, somebody you guys don't know, is like, he's been wanting a kid for a while too, and I'm like, dude, like, once you have a kid, your whole life will change. You'll go the rest of your life probably with having a kid and being concerned and like preoccupied about that until you're dead, most likely. Yeah, so absolutely. Like, just enjoy the final sliver of time that you have remaining where it's just you and Amber and Izzy. Because whenever a kid comes storming in, then it's like, well, that your whole life is now different because of that until you're in the grave. So
and we've already kind of prepared for that. We've done our traveling and whatever we wanted to do. We've talked about that. Like, we were always like, we got to do all the traveling we want to do before we try to have a kid. And I feel like we've done that now. Not that we would stop traveling or anything like that. Like, we would like to, but
but it's
we do know, we do understand that it's like, once that happens, all that kind of goes by the wayside. So it's more of just
it's just harder. Like, Max has been talking to us about that. One of my other friends just traveled across the country with his kid, and he said you just have to stop so much. It's just a larger hassle. Yeah, you've got a newborn with you, so
you also can't just do random things just off the cuff, You can't just like, oh yeah, like let's say after work I wanted to go skateboarding at some skate park or something like that. I don't know, something random. You can't just do that.
And you just bring your child with you. Yeah. They can watch you shred.
Look, I'm all about my future child shredding the gnar. All right, all for it. But
just take the little baby carriage thing to a skateboard and push him down the slope. They'll get the hang of it.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone will love that.
He'll do a kickflip.
Yeah, it's a good kickflip.
I'll just flip the stroller. Like, off a ramp, flip the stroller.
That's how Tony Hawk got as good as he is.
Yeah. That's why Riley Hawk is so good.
Yeah. Tony was teaching him how to do 900s when he was 6 months old.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that is the basic gist of that's the child.
So that's your life update.
Yeah, that's basically my life update. Been playing a lot of video games lately, and beer. That's basically it.
Grant, is there anything in your life that you want to update us on that wouldn't involve nutting, probably? Or do you have any nut updates you have for us today?
It is no nut November, Logan. We can't do that.
That's true. That's true. Stay strong, boys. Mike's already lost. The snipers are trained. They're on him.
That doesn't count. I'm married.
No.
We're exempt
for everyone. No. You must stay strong, even if you have a wife. That's just hard mode.
So here's the thing.
Yeah, you're just playing on Call of Duty veteran mode
It's a legendary Halo
with all the skulls turned on.
all the skulls.
Wow.
No, it turns the opposite when in November. It's only Nut November.
Oh, nonstop nut.
Yeah, nonstop nut.
Is that what you've been
November.
doing? Just nonstop nutting?
No, not really. There's like specific times that we try, but that's a whole other conversation.
Hold on. I do want to hold on. Let me come back to this real quick. Maybe this is too serious of a question, but does it take the fun out of it? Are you like,
No,
oh man, I guess we
not.
gotta have sex now?
No,
9
absolutely.
p.m. time for sex.
I got time. It's 7:30 p.m. It's time.
Is it like when you're dieting? You're like, I guess I gotta eat rice and chicken now.
No, it is not. It's still great. Like it is not taking the fun out of it for sure.
Well, that's good at least.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like you're like
No, it
have
doesn't
a
feel
second
forced
job.
No, it doesn't feel forced or weird or anything like that. No, it's just the only weird part of it is like, oh, it's time. Like it's weird as like it's like a
it's like
scheduled
Bruce
thing.
Buffer enters your house and screams, "It's time!"
But it's not like you have like a Google Calendar thing like sex time on it. It's more just like Amber's like, oh, I'm it's that time. It's
Please fertilize
Probably-
my body, husband.
yeah, fertilize the body today. I'm like, okay. Say less. So
Well,
yeah.
good to know. Thanks for sharing this with us.
Yeah.
Thanks for
That's how
sharing
you-
this in the podcast circle of people who
That's-
will not listen to this.
Yeah, that's how you are in love with the person that you're with. It wouldn't take the fun out of it, of course. Never
That's
would.
good. Anyway, sorry, Grant. So you've been so no nuts for you.
So no nutting,
No,
the opposite.
no nutting, no November, all that fun stuff. Got the mustache for November. I shaved my beard. Just been working out.
Is that a thing? Mustaches in November?
Yeah, Movember. I know mustaches typically like, hey, why'd you grow a mustache? And then you talk like, oh, prostate cancer is an issue with men, testicular cancer is an issue, porn addiction's an issue with men. So it's sort of like, why do you have a fucking mustache, person? And then you like sort of go into all that. So that's like sort of the reason behind why people shave their mustache, and just so they can be like, hey, this is a conversation starter. So we go into, hey, porn addiction's a big thing. Go into this, or check your nuts later when you go home to shower for any lumps.
Hey, sir, why do you have a mustache? Well, you should check your nuts.
Exactly.
Hey, why do you have a mustache? Have you watched porn lately?
Exactly. That's how it goes.
These are all great discussion points to bring up.
Yep.
I'm not trying to rock the mustache. Clearly, I've got the beard still, but I have been, when I trim my beard, I've been trimming everything but my goatee lately. So I want this to be longer than my beard, and I want to see how that looks. But I don't think I can grow facial hair well enough to where anyone notices. This is the downside. So
I'm with you, brother. Look at this. It look terrible.
yeah.
So bad. I haven't shaved just because usually I shave when I shave my head. So I do it all in one go.
Oh yeah.
But I haven't. I might be growing my hair out.
I was
this
gonna
is
say,
this is the longest I've had my hair in a
don't
bit.
shave your head. It's cold outside. You're gonna get
Yeah.
chilly, boy.
Yeah, it is. It is cold outside. Took me an hour to get home today.
What does that have to do with the weather?
It was snowing.
Oh, you got that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just snowing in like Buffalo. It's
No.
warm down where I live, baby. It's 90 degrees. Not really, but
It was snowing. It was 30 degrees. It's been 30 degrees the past like 3 days.
Yep, same here.
Terrible.
it is warmer
Terrible.
in the South, baby. Come to the South, baby. It's been
Hey,
like 45 or
I-
50 down here.
I'm a Titans fan, so.
You could
Which,
come
speaking
to
of,
me.
yeah, you moved to Tennessee.
I
Talk about
did.
that.
I don't know how much there is to talk about. I live alone now. I'm in a new room. My Spider-Man poster fell off the wall. Yeah, I don't know. I've been here like a month now, so I'm pretty settled in, sort of. I still don't know where anything's at, like, around me. Like the other night I went out downtown. I was like, I'm gonna see if I can get home and if I know how to get home and navigate this city. And I did. I was like, okay, cool. I didn't have to punch it in on my phone, so that's nice. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been weird. I've never lived alone, so like that's different. I've got my dog around here somewhere, and I will say he's definitely been like a it's been nice to have a dog. I would probably be I don't think I'd be going crazy if I didn't have anybody around here, but it'd be way lonelier, and I'd probably be like a worse version of myself. Like I'd probably play like League of Legends like 60 hours a week or something like that. Like I don't know. It would be really bad.
Do you feel weird? This is a weird thing because I don't think I've ever been alone. Like I've never lived alone.
Mm-hmm.
I've always lived in a house with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I lived at my friend's place. Like this is going back to like early model system. I was living at my friend's parents' place during that time, and then I moved in with Amber at the apartment, and I moved in here with like the house with Amber. So I've never really been alone. Do you not mind like sleeping in a house alone? Is that like a weird thing to you at all?
The first like 2 weeks here were weird because like I would hear noises outside and I'm like, what's going on? And I like start peeking out the windows and I'm like, is there a gang fight out in the street in suburban Tennessee that I should know about? And so like I was like it was kind of weird like the first week or two I was here.
Yeah.
Now it's becoming more normal. It is. I think the weird thing has been like I'm 28, so I've almost gone 3 decades without ever living alone because I lived with my parents and then I lived with Grant for a couple of years and I lived with my brother for a couple of years. So I've always had somebody in the house, and like there have been spans of time where Grant would go on trips and be gone for a couple of weeks, or same with my brother. So like I've been alone at home for spurts, but it's never been so prolonged. Yeah, so I'm still adjusting to it in that sense. But I think I've gotten used to it pretty quickly. The first couple weeks were a little bizarre though. And I think the weird thing was when I first moved here, time was moving really slow, which I'm kind of which I'm fine with because I feel like time moves too fast nowadays most of the time. But like the first couple of weeks I was here, it felt like everything was really dragging by, and I don't know why that is or why that was happening. I think it was just such a change, and I was not used to everything around me, whether it just be my surroundings at home or knowing where anything's at, or I don't know. Everything was just very different. So, but yeah, that was kind of nice for a little bit. I felt like my days were getting longer again, like they used to be. Like every day was a little bit more of me trying to figure things out, but I've since kind of gotten into a pattern and going to an office once a week and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. It's been fine so far though.
I think I would absolutely hate it. I don't think I could. I am a like paranoid person when I'm alone. So I turn on, if Amber's not here, I turn on like every single light in my house and I lock all the doors.
I usually leave lights on when I leave.
And I have a pocket knife, so I keep a knife on me.
I've thought of buying a gun, which I probably will do at some point. Just because like I'm not a gun person, but it's like okay, I live alone and I don't know anyone near me, and if any, I don't know. Just
if you're gonna do that, you gotta apply for it now.
No, I live in the South. I think they could just hand one to me at Kroger or something.
At a Kroger.
I just pick up your milk.
Hi, here's your Kroger Plus card and your Glock. Thank you for shopping here.
And your unregistered Glock. There you go.
Yeah.
You could carry wherever you want.
Yeah, I probably can. It's probably the Wild West down here.
Yeah, are they open? Do you know that if they're
I think
like
they
open
are.
carry
Yeah.
or
I wouldn't ever do that. I would just keep it at my house for
yeah,
if anything
I
ever
don't.
happened. The dumb thing,
Yeah.
I will say this, the dumbest thing that about all of this is that so when I moved down here, my parents helped me move down here.
Yeah.
And for some stupid reason, and I told him this as he was doing this, my dad was like, "Hey, I'm gonna." He pulled up his phone. And he's like, "Hey, there's been some crime around your area." Oh, and he was like poking around and was like looking at like crime tracker things that have like happened in my area to like get a sense on the area. He's like, "Oh, looks like there was a break-in right down the street from you. Huh? Looks like there was like a home invasion. Looks like that." I'm like, Why are you telling me this? I don't want to know this. You guys are going to leave in 12 hours and I'm going to be left here alone. So like the day they were about to leave, he was like, "Oh yeah, down the street a month ago, there was a house that was robbed in the middle of the night and blah, blah." I'm like, I don't want to know this. Stop telling me this. So
Here's
that
the
was
thing,
kind of
that happens
freaky.
everywhere. That probably happens by your parents' house too.
Probably.
So
Well, they live in the
Out in the
middle of
wilderness?
freaking nowhere.
you don't, dude. That's where
Dan,
that's where the
freaking
serious crime
Danville,
happens.
Indiana. My parents see on TV that like there's the riots happening during the summer of 2020, and they're like, "Oh, this is gonna happen to us." I'm like, "You live in Danville. Calm down." Grant's parents are probably the same way. Like, "Oh, this will be on us before we know it." And it's like, what are you talking about? But yeah, so that was silly. So that got me a little bit more like freaked out in the moment, but I've been fine since then. I don't know. I think the only thing I will say is that living alone is, and I think Mario could probably speak to some of this too, but I know he's not here because I think he lives alone now too.
Yeah, he does.
When you want space, it's very nice. Like there are times where it's like, I just don't want anybody to bother me or anything like that, and it's great. I love it. And I don't have to really plan for anything. And it's not like it was like that when I lived with you, Grant, or with my brother or anything like that either. But it is nice to just kind of have my own little cozy place and I don't have to worry about anybody else being around. What I'm saying is I can walk around naked everywhere. Yeah. That being said, there have been some nights where I've been like lonely and sad and depressed boy listening to Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. And those nights are like a little more amplified than normal when you know somebody else isn't around. Not that I wouldn't have those same nights again, like when I lived with Grant, and I wouldn't like go to Grant and be like, "I'm sad tonight, please talk to me." But like when you are alone and isolated and you're like, "Oh wow, all my friends and family are very far away from me," like that kind of weighs on your brain a little differently. Like that's the thing too, is like not only do I live alone, but I live alone and I'm like away from everybody. Like I have isolated myself in such a way that I'm very far away from everybody close to me, which is fine. And I haven't had really any like major issues with that yet, but like, I don't know. I've had a couple lonely nights here and there and it's not been super fun, but then that's when I follow the tricks of Dr. Steve Brule and I just gotta sleep it off and then I go to bed early. Like the no lonely times when you're dreaming. I'm like, that's right, Dr. Steve Brule, and I just go to bed.
What about you, Grant? I mean, you live by yourself too, yeah?
Yeah, I've been living alone 3 years almost now. And definitely, I think post-pandemic, I mean, I moved out like to live on my own probably like 5 months. Or it was in the middle of the pandemic when I moved out.
Yeah, we moved out in 2020, so it was that summer, I think.
Yeah. So like moved out and like sort of was like, man, Carmel, I go to the office once in a while, but I stayed at home. I was like, this is fun. Gamer life. Cool. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I can walk around naked. This is amazing. And like over time, I was like, you know what? This sort of sucks. And I had to get involved with something. And I knew like the church and stuff. I was like, I can go to church and just sort of go through the motions, or I can like serve and do something there. So I started helping out with like the ministry with kids. So I was in the nursery for a bit. I now work with middle schoolers, and I'm like one of the small group leaders for that. I'm in a small group and just sort of being thrusted into a community, especially where in my church, I don't feel like I belong, and I don't feel like I've ever belonged in a church. More so, like how I live and how I dress and look just doesn't fit the norms for most people. And I've just sort of gotten over the fact of like that's just how it is. I'm going to be a little bit different and quirky, so go to church, just learn about other people's culture lives, especially in Carmel where I'm at. It's a very ritzy area, so when I walk into church with a nose ring or they see some of my tattoos, it's a little bit jarring for some folks there who are like, oh my gosh, dear heavens, what is this heathen doing here? But overall, it's definitely been very nice to sort of get involved with that. But yeah, living on my own sort of hit hard after a few months in, but after a bit, it sort of allowed me to like push myself and go out and be more social, whether it's approach someone at a cafe who's like sitting alone or doing like their own thing and just be like, hey, just start talking with them or something. Just notice something like, hey, I like your shirt or something. Oh, my name's Grant. What's your name? And just start talking from there. That's something like I think I learned because I lived on my own is now I feel like I can approach people in a better way and like start a conversation compared to when I felt like I was just comfortable. Like, oh, I have a roommate. If I need to talk to him, I'll talk to him. And that's basically my social interaction for the day or week.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really about it when it's come to living alone.
It's so weird. Maybe because I think I'm more abnormal than normal because I feel like how you guys view it feels way more normal because like I said before, like I haven't like truly been alone like living or anything like that. I've always had like a friend with me or I've had Amber with me or whatever. So I do still like seek those moments of like I do like to be alone. I like having my alone time. I like, I am very much I think of myself as kind of like a loner kind of person. So it was just weird one day where or not one day, it was like a couple days ago. I went to go get dinner like just by myself. Amber was going out and I was like, "Oh, I'll just go get dinner at a bar by myself." I grabbed whatever. And then it was like one of those bars that my work we like distribute some beer. It's like a bar down the street from my work. And I saw like kegs that we had. And it was kind of like more or less a joke because I was like, oh, here's our dirty kegs because they were like right there. And he was like, oh, you should have invited us or whatever. I'm like, I was like, I just want to be alone, guys. Like I don't want to think about anything. I just want to be by myself, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like times like that where I'm just like, especially with like eating or like there's like a weird comfort in like eating alone or drinking alone or doing stuff like by yourself. I don't know. I personally find a lot of comfort in specifically like going to a restaurant and eating by myself. I don't know why.
I think it's empowering and stuff to go to like a restaurant on your own and be like, hey, I'm comfortable. I don't feel alone. Like this is fun and stuff. But there are some times where I'm like, I'm sad. I'm going to go pound 2 dozen donuts at a Krispy Kreme.
Yeah. I mean, like we joke about it all the time about especially when I was doing games writing and stuff like that, about going to a hotel bar, just getting
it is still the
completely
thing.
Hammered, like. And if I was still games writing and I was traveling and stuff, I would definitely still do that. Like I would genuinely.
Dude, you get back to your hotel. Like I went to League of Legends Worlds this past like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, wow, this is so like you go from such a high of being like in this environment of like, wow, I'm playing this thing that no one knows about. This is so cool, and you're like, woohoo, and you're like interacting with people, and you're doing a cool thing, and then it's just over and you gotta go back to your hotel room and it's so quiet and no one is around. You're like, I'm sad.
Like I might as well go. Like that's the thing too, is like you go to your hotel room and you're like, this kind of sucks.
After Worlds,
I'm like, I'll go to the bar.
After Worlds ended, it was really late because I left the stadium after everybody else. I'm actually wearing my Worlds shirt I got now.
Whoa!
Wow, I'm a cool guy. I left later than everybody else because I went to like the post-game press conferences, so I didn't get out of there till like 12 or 12:30. San Francisco's so weird too because everything in that town shuts down at like 9 or 10. I don't understand it. I got back
It's
to
weird.
my hotel and I was like, I'm sad. I don't want to be here. My flight's not for like 12 more hours, which means I can sleep in. I don't want to. And I was like still really like wide awake. I was like, I want to go to like a restaurant or a bar or see if anything's open and just like be somewhere and like nothing was open. I was like, I guess I will just sit here in my room and be sad for a little bit. And I just sat there and then I eventually went to sleep. But yeah, it's the worst, dude. Like, but also like there's a weird I guess I would say I don't feel this way as much anymore. I used to have like a weird draw to that stuff. Like I used to want to be like, especially when I was younger. And I think that's why like there's such a thing of like when you're in middle school and high school, people get really into like emo music or whatever, like stuff that's really emotional. Like that's what I got into the Pumpkins or whatever the heck, like those albums, because I was like, oh, I'm all sad and I want to be alone. And it's like, oh, okay, well, you're not really like, but there is like, I used to have a draw to like wanting to feel that way, and now I don't, and it sucks when it happens, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it legitimately sucks. So nowadays I definitely need, like, kind of what Grant was saying though, like I've only been in Tennessee for about a month, but I'm already feeling myself. Part of it's been because I've just been settling in and, you know, moving in. I think I was sick one weekend too, but like I already feel like I need, like, okay, I need to get involved in churches and I need to meet new people, and I've started to meet some people, and I don't know if I'll keep meeting them. I guess we'll see. Anyway, but I'm trying to meet people. I'm trying to put myself out there, not only in terms of just like, not even just it. I mean, I'm trying to date around at this point too, obviously, like bluntly, but I'm just trying to like be more open, even at like work too. Now that I'm seeing people, like I've started to like become friends with people at work that I haven't really known or anything like that, and connect with them, and that's been nice. I went to one of my coworkers' houses a couple weeks ago and went to dinner with him and met his family, and that was nice. And just like stuff like that. There's some people that live near me that I work with too, and so just like connecting with them and trading phone numbers and stuff like that. Like I don't want to, I'm not talking to them all the time, but it is just nicer to have like connections, and I guess I'm trying to be a little bit more proactive about getting those connections, whether it be with people that I come across on a daily and weekly basis, or those that don't know at all that I'm trying to connect with in the area, mainly via stupid dating apps and crap like that. But yeah, like I don't know. I'm trying to do that stuff, and I'll probably get involved in a church soon. I'm gonna go somewhere this weekend and do that stuff. And I don't know. I feel like when you do live alone, you are I don't know if Grant can speak to this more too, but like I feel like everything is like, regardless of what situation you're in, like all your decisions are going to be your own at the end of the day. Like your decisions to go to the gym or how you do at work or whatever, like all that stuff is your own decisions at the end of the day. But I guess for me, I always felt more complacent about that stuff when I was living with other people. I don't know why, but like now that I'm the only person I can rely on right now. I have nobody else around me. So anything I want or anything I need falls on my shoulders squarely now more than it ever has before. And I guess that bleeds off to other things too, even like going to the gym and eating better or whatever. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's more just like a shift in mentality. Like I have nobody else to rely on other than myself. And then that flips on other switches too, with things that you could have even changed when you were in different living situations. So yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, I've definitely always been, not always been, but you know, you brought up how it was almost like cool to feel like a certain way, like, you know, emo music and all that kind of stuff. And I think that like it's weird because like, yeah, when you're younger, you just end up vibing with that because at that moment, you know, you feel that certain way, I guess, but then you play into it almost. Whereas like Now I'm not like trying to play into anything at all, but sometimes you just feel like garbage. Like it just feels like complete trash. Like, and I mean, I don't live alone or anything like that, but I don't know. Like, there are more days than not. I feel like where I'm just like, I don't. Like, sometimes you just feel like garbage.
Well, it's
I
like
don't know.
weird too, because like your tastes start to change as you get older. Not
Yeah.
with like everything. Like I know you were talking about like I don't know if I like games that much anymore, and part of that is you're like I think Sekiro ruined games for me.
I mean,
but also you're like
nothing is better than Sekiro at this point.
But also
I've played so many games since then.
But I made fun of you like a week ago because you're like I'm gonna buy this Sonic game, and I'm like, why? You're like I don't know. I just want to see if I'll like it. And I'm like, like that's how I kind of feel now. Like I don't a lot of things I liked in the past I don't like anymore. Like
It's weird.
like Marvel like everybody's always like, oh, Miss Marvel and She-Hulk and Black Panther, Wakanda forever, and I'm like I if I never watched anything else Marvel again, you know, I think I'm gonna live now that the more I think about it. Like I have no interest in that stuff, and I used to greatly. Same with like Star Wars as well. But I mean, even beyond that stuff, like gaming's different because it's my job now. Comics, I got a whole shelf of comics behind me. I can't tell you the last time I read a comic. Like it's just like, and I think Grant's probably shown this the most out of any of us, where he's gotten into different hobbies the past couple years with coffee and cooking and stuff like that. I think that's kind of where I'm at, as I'm trying to figure out like what else I like and what else I would want to do and what gets my attention and what compels me, because right now I don't really know. In some ways I would say like the weirdest new hobby I've picked up is shoes, but like that's not a hobby, that's just a waste of money.
By the way, my shoes shipped. So
I'm very jealous of you. I really kind of
wait.
wanted those, but I was like, okay,
I can't wait.
hold off. You got to buy the Chicagos.
Yeah, but I'm with you. That's kind of in one way why I went back to skating. I mean, part of it was like I wanted to lose weight, and I got a gym membership for like a couple months, and I just hated it. So I'm like, well, what else can I do? I'm like, oh, I used to skateboard. Let me try skating again, and I did that, and now I absolutely love it. Like, is more than just like, I mean, it's definitely a hobby, and I don't get to do it as much as I was doing it, especially because it's wintertime now. But it is something that like, it's not just like exercise physically, but it's like, in my mind, it's also like an exercise for like me mentally. Like it just gets me to get my mind off.
It engages you
and,
on like a different level because you're trying to do certain, like you're striving towards something specific. Like I want to do a kick flippity drop skip off of the wall. Okay.
And there's no, and the other thing too is that there's no pressure on it. It's not like I'm trying to be Tony Hawk or I'm trying to be like the next
preparing for the X Games.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be the next Guy Mariano or something like this. I'm just trying to do a trick. I'm trying to 50-50 a ledge. That's it. Like there's nothing crazy about it. And then if I do it, and I'm like, oh great, that was great. I loved it and it's fun. And then I do it like 50 more times. I'll do the same trick like a ton of different times. Not only just because I think it's fun, but also I want to just like perfect it and just like I could just do it every single time. Like that's something there's like just like a weird satisfaction. It's not even weird, I guess. I mean, there's just a satisfaction of doing a trick perfectly, like the way that you want it and the way that you envision it. Like there is a reason why it's such a weird, like I could get into a whole thing about why I wear certain things when I skate, how I have my board set up the way it's set up, how I have like and it's at the end of the day, it's all just to make yourself feel good or like think you look good when you're doing something kind of thing. But
yeah,
that was like one of the reasons why I got back into skating, because you know, video games, as much as I like them, they just you play so much of them, it's all the same. Like it just They all just melt together. At
I
one point.
I don't understand. Like as we're talking about this, like Twitter's dying, but I just don't understand how people can keep up with it. Like there was a huge debate I saw like that I was exposed to this past week on Twitter of like the merits of whether or not Elden Ring is a compelling narrative. And there was like people like arguing back and forth about this like endlessly. I'm like, bro, I do not like, who cares? Like what? Like I'm not like I love video games. I like them a lot, but I can't care about them on that level anymore where I'm like going to be out here like beating my chest with what my takes are and what I think about them and stuff like that. Like
I think a lot of that too comes down to, especially in your profession, and like, you know, I did it too. It was just like, you say your opinion so much all the time. and then you realize no one gives a shit anyway.
Yeah, anyway? Like I wrote 2,000 plus words about God of War. I don't need to follow it up with 2,000 small tweets about God of War on top of it. Like, you want to hear what I think about the new God of War game? Please go read my review. I wrote a lot, put a lot of time into it. I don't need to tweet at you about it at the same time. Like, it's just.
I don't know. I feel like you didn't really explore like some of the animal harm done in God of War.
Shut up. Yeah, did you see that tweet, Michael, where PETA called me out?
I did.
PETA out here tweeting at me. That was a wild tweet to get today.
Yeah, but that's where I'm at. It's just like, you know, you say your opinion so much, it's like
and at the end of the day, I don't care.
And that is something like the Game Award thing, right? Like all that kind of stuff. Like the Game Awards are there, I guess, to show like appreciation for the people who are making video games. It gives a shit about the. It's also about the good reveals. All right,
that's all that
matters. That's what I'm ready to get monkey on a reveal or something. That's where I'm at with.
Yeah, I've seen Mike when a Star Fox game is sort of revealed. That's a good moment.
Like, I'm ready for those hype moments. That's what I'm there for. But also, it's like obviously the award part of it is more just to show your appreciation for those developers. I'm like, who cares if the narrative, like, if you think there's no narrative in Elden Ring, there are obviously plenty of other people. The other thing that's like, okay, the other thing that was like really weird about this award nomination stuff, and the people who are complaining about it, aren't the people who are nominating these things the people who are complaining about it because they're people in the industry who have isn't that how that works?
Yeah, sort of.
So I don't know,
because there's so many. The thing with the video game industry now is there's like so many outlets and so many different people across so many different outlets, and some people will have cachet on Twitter, but they work for a no-name outlet or something. It's like, so they really don't have a say when it comes to like Game Awards stuff like that. But
sure.
Yes, broadly, yes, I get what you're.
But that's saying. How those. But that's how that stuff is like chosen, right? Isn't it chosen from?
Yeah.
Like people vote from different out, like obviously the IGNs, the GameSpots, the whatever you call them.
Yes.
Not the comic books, the whatever, but yeah, I'm like, why are you guys all complaining about it? Aren't you guys the guys who voted for it? I don't know. But yeah.
They're all right. I mean, they have great nominations like Sifu as Fighting Game of the Year. That's one.
The only thing I've ever gotten fired up about was the stupid Nibel thing. That's just idiotic. That's just stupid.
There are weird choices in all of those nominations.
Yeah, I'm not gonna soapbox about that, but yeah, but even that, like I like that. You guys know that fires me up, and I'll rant about that internally. But I'm also not gonna go tweet about it for like. It's just like there's different. I think that's what's strange to me about social. This is a whole different topic, but I guess that's what's strange to me about social media platforms. It's like there's things I'll complain about to people in private, like you guys, and I'll be like, "This is so dumb." Nibel, content creator of the year, like this guy just tweets. But did you see me tweeting saying anything about that stuff publicly, whether it be on Twitter or elsewhere? No, because I don't care. I don't
No,
really
you should.
care to make that stuff known to a wide.
At the end of the day, it's just like,
Yeah, it's
again,
just pointless.
It's pointless, and two, like the whole point of that event is to like, I guess, to show appreciation for that industry or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that, and that's all it is. Like, and that's,
Yeah.
and I don't want to say like that's all it is. Like, oh, like backhandedly or anything like that. But it's not necessarily about awards. It's just about the recognition. And I mean, if anything, there's like other games that could have gotten recognized too, other than like God of War 20 times or Elden Ring 20 times or, Stray 5 times or whatever. There's other games that could have been
Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
or Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which was like, is that like the only Nintendo game that was on there? Oh, Kirby, I guess.
Kirby, Bayonetta's not very good apparently.
Yeah.
I hear like mixed things. Some people are like, it's still great. It's still Bayonetta. It's awesome. And other people are like, this game sucks. This is the worst of all three of them. So
It seems like 2 is the good one. In that,
yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about tonight? Otherwise we can skedaddle from this small
There was only like one
podcast.
thing. There was like one thing that I was thinking about from a different. It was a Bantam Banter podcast I did with
What about chicken nuggies?
not Chicken Nuggies. We will have to talk about that because we have to figure out scheduling for that because
Yeah.
we don't really have scheduling at Bantam Banter, but scheduling doesn't exist there. But we had a topic there one time where we were talking about or I was talking about how some music just like makes you emotional and just like it's nothing about the words, it's more about the music of like, and it just, there's something about it that,
Yeah, dude.
no pun intended, strikes a chord.
Yeah.
You just start crying and you're like, why
Yeah.
am I crying right now?
Simon and Garfunkel bookends. Just that guitar makes me extremely sad.
I was thinking about it because I mean the subject matter of what she sings is always sad or whatever. Well, I've been listening to a lot of Phoebe Bridgers lately,
Oh yeah.
and half the time I don't really know what she's singing.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know what she's singing or anything like that. But like Kyoto, like when she gets into like the like,
that's like a happier song though, I feel like.
I know it is, but it's just like how the chorus of that song is. I'm just like, dude, this is like what a beautiful melody. What a beautiful.
Like
I think she says, "I want to kill you," is what she says.
Yeah.
So,
I know what you're talking about.
but that part, I'm like, this song is just like really beautifully written.
Yeah.
Or there's like I think it was like, I mean, not to get into more Coe and Camry stuff, but like from the new album, like the first song, like right when that started, I was like, whoa. I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm like, I'm ready. Like, and it was more just because I was so excited for the album too, and it starts off with whatever the ending is from the last album, all that kind of stuff. Like, I was just like ready for that album. So that and like the ending, I think like the last track of that one too was just like, I don't know, just stuff about it was just like, oh, I am getting emotional from this. Has nothing to do with the lyrics, has nothing to do with what the music's about. It just has to do with like how, like the notes that they are playing, which is very weird. It's such a weird thing. And I feel like Phoebe Bridgers specifically has like the sauce for that. She just writes things and I'm like, why am I crying right now? I don't even know why. What's even happening?
That's how I am. I mean, that's kind of how I am with this is somebody I've been listening to again recently to put you in the state of mind I've been in, but Damien Rice is kind of the same way, where his music is very sad lyrically, obviously kind of similar to Phoebe Bridgers, but the music itself is also like that man could not sing a single word on some of these songs. I'm like, man, this is touching me, my soul. I don't know. There's just certain artists like that. Yeah.
It's weird.
And I'm drawn to music like that. That's why I kind of still like Pumpkins stuff too. Like there's some songs that I think are like, I have a very vivid memory of me being torn up about a girl in like middle school or early high school, I think, and listening to like "Take Me Down" on Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness a lot. And I'm like, this song's not even about sad stuff, I don't think.
Yeah.
But that song, I was like, oh, I just would like to listen to this song, and it's sad sounding. So
yeah, I guess part of it too is like sometimes I'll play drums, and sometimes you'll just like feel that music, and you're like, wow, this is like incredibly powerful music while you're playing it and stuff like that. And you just start like well, a lot of it came down to I hadn't played drums for like 2 years because I didn't have a place to play at because I was in an apartment. And then when I finally moved into this house, I was able to play drums, which meant that I tried playing Rush songs because I used to know how to play that stuff. I can't play it as well anymore. But then I started playing some Rush stuff, and there was, I think it was Subdivisions, because I still know how to play that song. Turns out that was one of the few that just kept in my mind. I could just play. I could play along with it.
I now have a different association with that song.
Yeah, I know you do. So I was playing Subdivisions, and
that was really funny.
Night. and before that, like I had not gotten to play drums, but Neil Peart died.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really wanted to do was play drums, like when that happened, because he's like he's beyond a like just a music idol. Like I see him as like somebody I love their writing. Like they're beyond just a music idol. They are like one of the people I look up to, kind of thing. And it was one of the I cried more when they died than like some of my family members have died. Like yeah. I was a complete mess when that like 5 days when I figured that out. So I wanted to play drums. That was like the thing. And then I finally set up my drum set and then started playing music. I'm like, okay, let's play some Rush stuff. And I think I played through like Tom Sawyer's an easy one and some other stuff. And then I played I was
gonna say saying like any Rush song is easy. Oh yeah, Neil Peart drum track. That's an easy one.
Tom Sawyer is an easy one. I tried playing. There's some I tried playing Red Barchetta. That song's hard. There's some other ones too, but yeah. Then I started playing Subdivisions, and then I just like started like bawling when I was playing it because I'm like.
You were thinking about being in the shopping malls, and it got to you.
In the shopping malls, yeah. It's just something about that song was just like hitting me. And maybe it was like because it was like one of the first Rush songs that I learned. It was that and Limelight.
Conform or Be Cast Out.
Yeah, we're like the two. So I was just like, this is hitting me pretty hard, and I'm like, I finished the song, and I'm like in tears. It was really weird.
I still have songs like that. There's just certain songs that just hit you in a certain way. Like, even to this day, I have a cut. I don't know. I mean, there's a long list I could go on about, but I've talked to Max about this before too. Like certain John Mayer songs that I've like bawled my eyes out to before, just because they like resonate with me in a certain way. I don't know. That's just how music is, and that's why I like music. Is like, and it can take you back to those moments too, which is both like a good and bad thing. Like when you have listened to Subdivision since, have you thought about that moment? Like, have you like crying to that? Like, the times you've like listened to Subdivisions.
A lot of it comes down to association with like drumming. So if I'm playing drum, like one song when I play drums, and this is also like this is more of a other thing, but I'll play. Two's My Favorite One by Cody and Cambria, and that was a song that Amber and I danced to at our wedding.
Yeah.
And so, but that one was like a more like acoustic piano track. The original version is more of like a rock song.
Well, like I said before, I'm 28 years old, and I still think of when I hear "Take Me Down" by the Smashing Pumpkins. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when I was really sad and I listened to this song on repeat when I was 13 years old or 14 years old in high school or whatever. So like,
I don't know. Two's My Favorite One always makes me cry a lot because I think about my wedding and Amber and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that one, like I always play it on drums all the time. Every time I play drums, it's like the last song I play. just because it's one, it's fun, and it's like one of my favorite songs by them. But two, it's also the one that I associate with my wife, and like the lyrics for that are very much how I feel about our relationship, kind of, and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's a very interesting thing that it's not. But I mean, I know we've been talking about the words of the music and stuff like that, but I guess in the beginning it was more just like it's very interesting that like just certain sounds, I guess, could just make you emotional. It's very weird.
Dude, like I said, Bookends is like the song that I think of when you're like, oh, name a sad song. I'm like, Bookends by Simon and Garfunkel.
Is that the ding, 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 ding?
Yeah, that's the one that's played throughout 500 Days of Summer too.
Yep, of course.
Yeah,
I know the song.
Yeah, it's just like there could be no lyrics. I mean, the lyrics of that song are pretty sad too, but that song itself just sounds sad. Just sounds I hear that and it hurts my heart. And it's just a Paul Simon plucking away on the guitar. So, yeah, there's a lot of songs like that. And there are some songs like that I can't listen to anymore because it just, like I said, association with certain things, very people that aren't in your life anymore, or death or things like that. Like, I don't know if I've got some songs that I think of like people that have died in my life. It's not a huge list, to be honest, but there's some songs that like remind me of certain people like that I kind of don't have a tough time listening, but I can't listen to without thinking about them. So, which is melancholy in its own. But
I have movies like that.
Yeah. Did you want to add anything to this discussion, Grant?
I mean, I only have one song, and you're gonna fucking probably guess it before I even hold up what I have in my hand.
Is it the Persona 5 soundtrack?
It is not, no.
Okay.
You're pretty warm.
Is it the Persona 4 soundtrack?
It is not, no.
Are you going to say Heaven makes you think of Nanako and it makes you sad?
No.
Okay, what is it?
Catherine.
No. I wish I had a Catherine record.
The Velvet Room?
Oh, like that. That theme, for some reason, like, it didn't hit me when I was playing 5, and it didn't really hit me when I was playing any other, but for some reason, 4, I was like, man, this is such a great song. I just sort of get, like, lost in the moment, like, start thinking about life a lot, and I'm like, I can't listen to this song on its own anymore. It just gets me deep in thought, and I either get really sad or just think too much. I'm like, I can't believe I've been poisoned by Persona. And I can't just go to the number. Like, I'm going to use some demons here. Now I'm sad thinking about life.
So what's going to happen when Persona 6 comes out and that song's
I'm like,
inevitably...
I'm so excited! And then I'm like, now I'm sad. I can't play this game for a few days, and it'll be a cycle. I won't beat it for 3 years.
So what you're saying is you get depressed every time you have to go and fuse your personas.
Yes. But no, I think like the concept, like the whole reason like I'm really into personas, like, oh, the mythology and stuff behind like a lot of the demons and other things used within there, and how there's some comparisons to other things, like the whole Velvet Room and like all the names and attendants and everything is all revolved around Frankenstein, if you didn't know, like Igor, Margaret, Lavenza, Caroline, Justine, Theodore, like Philemon, like everything within like that whole realm of the Velvet Room is like modeled after Frankenstein. I was like, oh, that'd be cool. I should read Frankenstein to understand it more. And I read Frankenstein. I was like, this is a really good book. I really like Frankenstein. I'm like, this is not like the Frankenstein you see like, oh, scary monster. No, it's like sort of a tragic story about like the doctor and everything and how he has to watch people die in his life. I'm like, oh, that's sad. I really like this book. But yeah,
Grant's a big Mary Shelley fan in the year 2022.
I know.
Loves Mary Shelley.
It's just sort of how it is. I'm like, wow, good book. And that was sort of the book that was like, I want to read more books. So now I've been reading a lot. And
so
then I found out I like romance books. I'm like, this is a terrible road to go down. I don't want to read smut, but I like read really goofy shit.
No, so, dude, rom-coms are like my thing. I was thinking about going and seeing the...
I love rom-coms.
I was thinking about going and seeing the new George Clooney, Julia Roberts rom-com that's out. I was like, I'd love to go see that movie.
I'm not a big movie person. I'm really liking books though. Like the book I really like is really dumb and really cheesy. It's about all these men who have like relationship issues, whether it's like married ones or just finding a girl, stuff like that. And they all meet and they're like, how do we like fix our relationships or get a relationship? They're like, let's read romance novels. And like,
So it's a romance novel about reading romance novels.
It's some of the dumbest stuff I've ever read. I'm like, this is so good. When you're in Indiana, I have like the whole series. I'm like, okay, I may show Logan this, but like the first one's about like a baseball player is like, oh no, I've never given my wife like an orgasm. Like, how do I fix this? And like he reads a romance novel, he's like, I have saved my marriage. I'm like, this is so dumb, but it's so good. But yes, from the Velvet Room to baseball players struggling in their sex life. What a great way to transition it.
I love rom-coms, but nothing has satiated my thirst for the rom-com after watching She's All That. I can't find another movie.
Is that the one with Freddie Prinze Jr. and what's her face?
I don't know what the girl's name is.
I forget her name,
but
where she's like a painter lady.
Yeah, like
that
is
pretty good. Yeah,
it is one of my top, I would say, 5 favorite rom-coms for sure.
What else is up
top
there?
3.
We don't need
when Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
I watched that for the first time the other day. Pretty good.
Sleepless in Seattle.
Yes. Yep.
The Meg Ryan duo right there.
Well, I was gonna say I've actually never watched You've Got Mail, and I was almost gonna do it soon.
I've never seen it either.
I might do
but
it soon.
I do love like an early 2000s rom-com though. That's like where those are some of my favorites. Like She's All That.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 days.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 days. What's the one with?
Is that the one with Heath Ledger? How to Lose a Guy in 10 days?
What's the How to? What was it? The How to Catch a Guy? What is it called?
How to Catch a Guy in a Net.
No. Oh yeah. There's. Oh no, not that one. That's not the one I'm thinking of. That's not How to Catch a Guy in 10 days.
That movie doesn't exist, I don't think.
Yeah, it does.
How to Lose a Guy, not How to Catch a Guy.
Oh sure. You're right.
Those are 2 completely different things, Mike.
There is the. It has something to do with days. 40. Is it 40?
Oh, 28 days later.
50?
Is it this one?
50 Shades?
Is it 40 days? 40? Yeah. 40 days and 40 nights. That's the one I was thinking of.
Oh, about Noah?
It's about Noah and the animals.
Wow, what a good rom-com.
But,
honey, I know we're trapped on this ark with all these animals, but I want you to know I love you.
500 Days of Summer would be in there too, though. I would consider that a rom-com.
I feel like The Graduate's a rom-com.
It's a rom-com.
It is.
It's a rom-com.
The other day when I went on a date with a girl, she's like, "So what are some of your favorite movies ever?" I was like, I said the 3 that came to mind were Ferris Bueller's Day Off, The Graduate, and 500 Days of Summer. I was like, well, that's an interesting lineup now that I think about it. I've never really, I guess I didn't say Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That's always my go-to when people ask me that. But I didn't think about that this time.
Eternal Sunshine's really good too.
I've never seen that. I've heard that movie messes people up. I'm like, okay, I'll save that for when I'm in a very low point, and then maybe
You've never seen that one?
No,
dude.
I've heard it's like the most depressing of them all. So I'm like, okay, I'll wait till I'm on the precipice of suicide, and then I'll watch that one.
Why would you do that? Why would you not do it when you're at your most happy?
Because I want to be in that zone. I'm not really gonna kill myself. I'm kidding, but like, I don't know, because when you're sad, you gravitate towards sad things. It's just like if this person I'm dating now all of a sudden was like, I don't want to see you anymore, I'd be like, I will now listen to all of the albums that make me sad.
You are missing out. That movie is genuinely.
Maybe I'll watch it tonight.
Amazing.
Maybe I'll watch. I mean, the night is young. I got time. Maybe I'll watch it tonight.
It's so good. There's that, and then I know I would.
It's only 9:30 for me and Mike.
Mario would kill me if I didn't say, but the Before trilogy is pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's as good as people say it is, but I do think it's pretty good. I'm looking at like a list of rom-coms. I'm seeing While You Were Sleeping. I've seen that one.
I watched The Time Traveler's Wife a couple months ago.
Is that good?
Okay.
Or Say Anything. That's okay. Sleepless in Seattle. Classic.
It's a classic. It's a banger.
Clueless is really good too.
Clueless is okay. I wouldn't really consider that a rom-com. It's more kind of like a com, and then there's some rom at the end.
Yeah. 16 Candles is okay.
It's okay. Long Duck Dong.
Yeah. There's I don't know. I love rom-coms. I'm trying to think of the one that I'm oh yeah, Four Weddings and a Funeral. That was the one that I saw not that long ago. That one was pretty good actually. With Hugh Grant.
Never seen it.
It's pretty good. Anyway, that's it. I'm done now.
All right. Well, we should wrap up because I have to pee.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys have any sign-off words you would like to say on this episode of the Model Citizens podcast extravaganza.
Nope. You can find us at Twitter.
Can you?
You can, potentially, before it shuts down. This could be the last time we have a Twitter shout-out, Logan.
I was going to say, if Twitter still exists, you can find us there, I guess. You can watch this show on Point in Progress. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's some other good shows on there. Mike is at Michael J. Ruiz.
The Michael J. Ruiz.
The Michael J. Ruiz on Twitter. I'm sure if you just search Michael J. Ruiz.
On everything.
There you go. Ubiquitous now. There we go.
Yeah.
Grant's at...
Grant, _ Callahan.
_. Wow.
_. Because there's not a single underscore available for me.
I am at Moreman12. So there's other Grant Callahans out there that are impersonating you, is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back next month for ham season, when it's good old ham time. We'll be back next month in December. Mario and Max should be back with us by then. And we're also, if you watch our other show, which you surely don't, but Max's monthly music mission will be back then too. And we'll be back next month to talk about.
That'll be a loaded episode.
Yeah, we actually gotta figure out what.
That might be a 3-episode thing.
Yeah, we gotta figure out what is going on with that, because I don't remember what we set up. So
we might have to skip the next Model Citizen show to just record that one episode.
I don't know. Maybe. We have no listeners, so this is just for us. So we'll figure it out.
It is just for us. That's true.
But I'm glad we did this. Thanks for talking about nutting and sad music and Neil Peart drums and the Persona vinyls making you sad and anyway.
Yeah, this turned out to be a sad episode, didn't it?
Yeah, kind of.
This is what happens when you get the depressed people to do.
Kind of. Stephanie texts me back as well. Anyway, all right. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.